Welcome to the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. Tonight's guests, Glenn Hamilton and Michael Washkevich. And now, your hosts, Daniel Kime and Alan McCutcheon.
Hello and welcome to the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. Tonight's guests, we have Glenn Hamilton and Michael Washkevich. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Really excited to have you here.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for having us.
Very excited to be here.
Of course.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Really excited to have you here myself. So there's been a lot going on with both of you, independently and together. So I guess let's just kind of start with individually who each one of you are in case someone doesn't know how. And then we'll kind of go from there. So if you don't know Glenn, you're from the river and you host the...
I live in the Susquehanna River.
Yep.
That's my
He's
home away from home. Yeah.
I feel like I could have explained that so much
No,
better.
I have to do that. I'll have to clarify. Like I'm from the river, the radio station.
The radio station.
I have to
yes.
clarify that. So yes, thank you, Daniel. I'm the River 97.3.
All right.
I do mornings there.
Yep.
Program director. Been there forever, since '92 when we signed on.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. That's doing a quick math here, over 30 years.
It is. I was
my
5
goodness.
years old.
You were 5 years
No.
old. Just like picturing you in the river with like a duck inflatable.
Exactly. Perfect. But yeah, I'm grateful to still be on the air here after all these years. I love this area.
That's awesome. And this area loves you. I mean, I'm sure people see you everywhere, man. I can't get away from you. Every time I go to an event somewhere, I'm like, hey, there's Glenn.
Thanks, man. I love it. Thanks, man.
Of course. And then Michael, so you're from the area as well. You own, and let me get this right, MWD Productions.
MDW Productions.
MDW Productions. Also just won a CPMA for the best recording studio.
Yes.
Congratulations.
So, yes, thank you. Thank you.
My man.
Very, very grateful to have won. Yeah, it's nice to be noticed and have folks call you out. You know, I do a lot of hard work and I've been doing it for a long time. And yeah, it felt really good. So,
Dude, that's
very
awesome.
appreciative.
Man. Of course, yeah. We're honored to have you here. How long have you been in the recording industry?
I started going to school to study it in the mid-'90s, and I've been doing it ever since, you know, in various ways, be it working at other folks' facilities, and then eventually putting together my own studio and building that over the years and building clientele. And
Awesome.
yeah, it's been a very long road.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of records made.
Well, that's amazing. How long has MDW existed for now?
My current room was, it's built into my home.
Okay.
And I bought that home in 2011.
Okay.
So, been there since. And it is a build out. So it certainly took a few years until it looked like it does now. But that's when I moved into my house. But I was working out of another house in Hershey before that. So yeah, I've been doing it a long time.
Awesome.
Lots of records.
That's great. Any big, what are some of the big ones that you've worked on over the years?
Well, certainly this past year, your album of the year, the Jelly Bricks record, that was recorded at my place.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Great guys.
And the instrumental LP of the year, The Depth Beneath Us, that record was done at my place too.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm always working with somebody. You know, we were talking on the way in. There's several records being made now, and there's more on deck already that are coming. So yeah,
that's so awesome.
It's a busy guy.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And now I guess so since everyone has kind of a basic understanding of both who you are, you guys together are also in a Van Halen tribute band.
That is correct.
We absolutely are.
Let's talk about this because you guys are killing it right now. The name of the band, tell me one more time.
Van Wirsing.
Okay. How'd you come to that
Where
name?
did that come from?
Exactly. Well, our guitar player, who's why we put this together, Eric Wirsing,
Okay.
is also the guitar player in Solar Federation.
Oh,
Who've been around for 10 years. Both of us are huge Solar Federation fans because we both love Rush.
Yep.
And have been fans and friends with those guys forever. And just have always knocked around saying, dang, Eric, you're so good. You should do some kind of a Van Halen tribute. People should hear you play the Eddie Van Halen guitar that you can play. Because he was always posting little one-off videos, right? Mm-hmm. So our friend Herb, has what's a shindig? every
he throws
summer.
a very
private
large party at on his property every year.
The largest private party in Central PA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this year, I think it's his 23rd year doing it. And every year he tries to end the show with a bang, put together some kind of special thing. And it's been a variety of things over the years. And he just had the bright idea, like, wouldn't it be funny or fun if we did a Van Halen tribute for the end of the show and we just put it together? And that's the thing with Eric, you can just say, like, and Eric has said, I don't know, name a Van Halen song, I'll play it. Like he knows so much of the catalog already. He studied it all. Like it wasn't a huge lift for him to get ready for the
I'd
show.
say Eddie was probably one of his biggest influences early on in learning the guitar and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then Fedge asked me to fill in on bass and Glenn to sing, and then we have Mike Bitts playing keys with us too, and
he's also in Solar Federation.
Yeah, and he plays bass and keys in Solar Federation. So we had a really good time doing it. It was a blast.
Yeah.
In front of 500 or 600 people at this private party in the backyard of Fedge's house, and. People really dug it, and
of course, all the social video.
Yeah, some videos got around, and the crazy thing is Bret Michaels caught wind of it, and he was doing a show a couple of months after we did that party up at Spyglass Ridge Winery up in Selinsgrove.
Okay.
And we were promoting the show on the station. He got a hold of one of the videos and asked if we would come up there and sit in with him during his band set, the Bret Michaels band set up there.
No way.
So we went up there, and Eric played Eruption with his band, and then we went into Ain't Talking About Love and actually sang with Bret and his band, and it was pretty crazy in front of 5,000 people up there at Spyglass.
Oh my gosh.
And it just kind of, it's kind of taken off beyond anything that any of us ever expected, putting this together for a little backyard party.
I was going to say, like, this all started out as a backyard party thing, and then next thing you know, you're getting noticed from Bret Michaels, and he's like, yeah, guys, come hang out.
Come play with it. And then we get this, we're Rock the Food Bank for the Central PA Food Bank at XL Live. And then Bret said he's coming back. He's coming to Grantville, back to Grantville, the Hollywood Casino this summer, and asked if we would do a little opening set for that show this July, man. And so it's Bret, Fuel,
and Vixen,
and our little old Van Halen, Van Wirsing band.
That's sweet.
Mind-blowing.
Oh my gosh. And what's the date on that so that way people know to mark their calendars?
July 11th, is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the Saturday after 4th of July, and Bret swears this is going to be like the biggest fireworks show, like bigger than the 4th of July.
Okay.
To end the show.
Is he like financing them himself, I guess?
I'm not at liberty to say. I don't know. The rock gods are financing.
Yeah, that's fair. That works.
It is going to be the party this summer, and we still, I think I speak for both of us, can't believe that we're going to be on stage doing that again. I think we might even join him again with his kick-ass band.
Dude, that's so sweet.
For another song during his set. So, yeah, we're excited. And then we have a couple other shows as well. We have Allen Theater in Annville on May 29th, which is after Memorial Day. And then we're going to be up at Shy Bear Brewery.
Lewistown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a nice end of summer, August 28th. So
Yeah, they're a really great outdoor venue there.
Yeah.
It's a great brewery.
Gotcha. So what was like kind of like the defining moment? Like, yeah, we're gonna actually keep doing this more than just a backyard party. Was it when you got the notice from Bret Michaels, or did you have kind of an idea that you were gonna keep doing this before then, or how did that work out?
Certainly the reaction when we played the show, and well, actually even before the show, we did rehearsal and we took some video of it. And
At your studio?
Yeah, at my studio, and just paired it up with the audio, just a rough audio, and pushed it out, and it just blew up. Everybody was talking about it. The video was just getting lots of visibility.
Okay.
And of course, the one gig we're doing is like a private party. So, everyone's like, I want to see this. I want to take part in it. And
you
they're like,
can't.
yeah, you can't.
That might have been part of the illusion. The
Yeah,
allure is like, oh, I want to
sure.
see it, but I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And then our second thing was as a Bret Michaels.
Insane. That was insane.
It's wild. But
15-year-old us wouldn't have been able to believe that.
yeah, it was definitely a surprise all along. But yeah, the reaction to it was increasing our confidence to like, oh, maybe this doesn't just have to be a one-off thing. Maybe we really should give this a try, you know. And we're all really enjoying it. That's the thing. Like we enjoyed it all the whole way.
Yeah.
The challenge being that we're all adults with different things going on. We're all very busy.
Yep. Full-time
and
jobs.
Yes.
You know.
I'm
Other
playing,
bands, other
I'm playing in
projects.
another
Yeah.
band, they're playing in another band, and it's a lot for us to juggle, but
Yeah.
we're making the time for it because we really enjoy it.
We're trying to keep the shows spaced out, you know, with a decent amount of time in between them as well to make them special. But it's, you know, we do definitely focus on those first 6 albums, the David Lee Roth era. Not that we have anything against Sammy. We love Sammy and the Sammy era Van Halen. It's just it's a different band. It's a different style of music. And the focus really was to be on Eric Wirsing playing the Eddie Van Halen guitar from those first 6 albums.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
And let's face it, David Lee Roth's a little bit easier to sing than Sammy. Let's just, you know. But, you know, Dave was really good on those albums, man. Ted Templeman got some great performances at him, and that's what we try to do is sound as close
Sounds
to
like the
records
record.
as we can.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
deliver the record. And Van Halen never really delivered the record, at least not until the later years.
Yeah.
You know, it was always such a crazy blast of energy.
Yeah.
The record was in there somewhere.
Yes.
But it was a crazy
You
blast
recognize
of
the songs.
amazing energy.
Yes.
You know, but
There was a lot of jamming going on.
I mean,
and-
yeah, stretching
Yeah.
and lots of different ways that they played with it, but we have a pretty, you know, meticulous approach to delivering the record.
Yeah.
And all my friends that don't even know Eric would say to me, I'm watching the videos and that guy just kind of hits every last note. Or Brian, who we were talking to earlier, Brian Seneca, he would joke with Eric, like, I think you missed a note there. Like, he copies the mistakes.
Yes. He's so meticulous. And you have to be, if you're going to be in a Rush tribute band and also a Van Halen tribute band that, you know, with the Edward Van Halen, just one of the greatest guys to ever touch the instrument.
We get more grace than they do with a Rush tribute band. You know, that I always joke with those guys. I was like, the note police is sitting in the front row. Like, they're going to call you out whenever you don't play something right.
They're waiting for every drum fill.
Because those fans know every last note of that music.
Yeah.
And Van Halen fans they don't quite, you know, take in the music that way, but they still know when it's done right and appreciate that. And we do definitely put in the effort to deliver it as recorded.
Yeah. Oh, and that kind of like makes the separation between a cover band and a tribute band. Like, you're not just a Van Halen cover band. You're making a tribute to them. Like, you're doing this right and you're playing it to the recording.
For sure.
Yeah, if you're a fan and you show up, you're going to be pleased. That's our ultimate goal.
Because we're fans. Yeah. And I would have to say I'm probably, Eric and I are probably the biggest Van Halen fans in the band just because they were such part of our formative years. The first concert I ever saw in my life was 1980 when I was 13, and it was Van Halen for their 3rd album, Women and Children First. And it literally changed my life. Like, if I would have been born in the 60s, that was my Beatles moment. You know, that changed my life and made me think, oh man, that's what I want to do with my life. And anyway, it's just I will say this: we're a tribute band, and we don't have anything against dressing up in costumes, but we do have a strict no wigs, no spandex policy, no chaps. You don't want to see that from me.
So if you thought you were going to go to a show and see Glenn Hamilton in chaps, sorry to burst your
Sorry,
bubble, but
sorry, ladies and some gentlemen. But you know, and no big fly splits off the drum riser.
Gotcha.
You know, but
Bummer.
but we still bring that energy.
Yeah.
We bring the Van Halen energy. I like to say we're like the 2008, 2015 stage show that Van Halen did when they reunited with Dave and Wolfgang and toured.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So I think Van Halen fans would dig the set list too.
Yeah.
We're changing it up, playing some deep cuts and all the hits.
Good. Yeah. I mean, you gotta cover everything when you're doing that. So
Yeah.
And you guys also recently sold out the West Shore Theater.
That's correct.
Was that your 3rd show? So did you just go like blow up at this backyard party, Bret Michaels, then sell out your 3rd show?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did
well,
have
we-
XL.
we did the
We had
XL
XL with a
show
bunch
in
of
there.
other
you did
bands,
XL? Okay,
like
gotcha.
Jelly Bricks and a bunch of Cold Spring Union. and Swisher Sweets. That was to raise money for the Central PA Food Bank. So
Correct.
our fourth show at West Shore Theater was the first actual paying gig that we ever had, and it was pretty sweet.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
We were the most successful what do you say? The most successful non-working band in Central PA. This is crazy.
Hey man, I love to hear it. I mean, it's evidence that you can do it. Get out there, put in the work, and do what you love, and you're gonna end up all right.
Yeah,
so.
man. We're having a blast. We'll ride it as long as we can,
Yeah,
right?
if people keep coming out to see it, we'll keep doing
Yeah.
it. So.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah, I love to hear it, man. That's great. So, CPMAs happened recently. I know you do the show with Brandon a lot, Glenn. Why is the name of the show you guys do?
It's because it's a complicated, very creative name that we came up with for our local music show.
Oh, the local
on the river.
show. Oh,
it's
my
called The Local
gosh.
Show.
Hey, Brandon, forgive me.
It's okay. It's almost too simple, really. But yeah, we've been doing it, and we're on our fourth season of The Local Show. It's on every Sunday night, 8 o'clock on the river, and then we have the podcast that we upload, which is different than this, because this is all conversation. It's basically just we take the show from Sunday night and put it on the iHeartRadio app the next day. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing that.
Very nice. So what was that conversation, or not the conversation, but I mean, when Brandon approached this idea to you, what were your thoughts on it? Like, oh man, we're doing another show now?
I actually went to him and said, hey man, how would you feel about collab? Because we used to do a local show on the river forever. Michael Anthony Smith was the host of Open Mic Night for years. And then, things changed and things started getting interesting with what the hoops you had to jump through to get local bands on the air and rights and permissions and things. So it just became too complicated. So we took a few years off. And then after COVID and the CPMA started, I went to Brandon and said, hey man, how would you feel about, I know you're not busy enough, but if we could record it during the week, what if we do a local show and the CPMHOF curates the music, meaning you, Brandon, curates the music, because you guys have your thumb on the pulse of the local music scene. I thought, who better to curate the music, and it's been a dream partnership. It really has.
That's brilliant. And it's funny you said that about him being busy enough, because you two are probably like the busiest people I know. And as soon as I saw it 4 years ago when you guys were doing the local show, I'm like, somehow they still found more time, guys. I don't, their days are just longer than everyone else's, I suppose.
Well, we recorded at like 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning. That's how we're not in there Sunday nights at 8 o'clock.
Fair. Either way, I mean.
We find the time because we love the Central PA music scene. There's so much talent, and and I'm going to shut up after this because Mike's got so much going on.
I was going to say, I'm not forgetting about you, Mike.
I think you can back this up. There really is still, even in 26, something special about hearing your song on the radio.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live on the radio, and you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, oh my God, and it comes up on your screen, on your radio, in your car. It's like, oh my God, it's the Very Fine Gentleman, or whatever.
Still powerful, absolutely.
So it really feels good to help to give people that exposure and that experience.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are doing that. It's great for the local music community. That's what we're all here for, right?
Absolutely. You guys are huge supporters of the local.
Yeah, what you do here is great.
Oh,
exactly.
Thank you. And I mean, once again, it's just, all about support. Same thing you're doing, Glenn. And I mean, you're still supporting our local music community. So I love to hear it. And you said the name, the Very Fine Gentlemen. Can you tell us about them a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So in a nutshell, we are an instrumental rock jazz fusion band. We just won the best jazz band award, but some at the CPMAs.
Yeah.
But some folks would certainly look at us and go, "That's pretty far from jazz." And to a point, I would agree. I think we get stuck into that box because there's a trumpet player and a sax player in the band, so. It's kind of like, I don't know what to do with these guys. They're instrumental, there's horn players, so therefore, we can get
in the
put
jazz
there.
bucket.
Yeah. But I mean, we are, I would say we're the Very Fine Gentlemen. Like, that's what we are. Like, we are our own thing. There's little bits of influences from all of us to kind of come through it. So all of the guys in the band, except me, used to be in a band called Big Tubba Mista, which was a swing band around here that was
Huge.
very well established
Very
and did
huge.
very well for a long time.
Okay.
And those guys all remain friends. And I mean, I knew them all from way back in the day when they played in that band. And John, the bass player, decided, I don't know, it's probably about 6 years ago now, that he wanted to maybe try putting together something original. Then we all kind of came together. Jim recommended me to come in and play guitar, and we put it all together, and it's been a blast. You know, I had a guitar rig that I was using to play with a cover band I played with sometime. It was put together that had a whole synth guitar setup in it. So
Okay.
it's a regular guitar, but then there's, you know, I can play synth sounds with it. So I can be a bit of a chameleon. I can start playing keyboard lines and such with my guitar. That rig is a whole lot of fun. And then when I got approached with this band, and I thought, oh wait, I could use this to not just emulate cover songs, I can make original music with it and write with it and compose with it. And that was just really appealing to me. Not to mention that everybody in the band, I'm certainly not in my 20s anymore, and neither is anybody in the band. And how we look at a project like this is very different. You know, it's strictly driven by, we just want to have a good time making music and creating music and making art. You know, we really wanted that outlet in our lives. So that's kind of what it became. And everybody is just very chill and on the same page. And we're really enjoying the music we make together. We've played many really great shows together. We're haven't publicly announced it yet, but I'll tease it. We're going to be playing Capital City Music Hall at the end of September to promote a new album we're putting out. It's going to be a pretty darn fantastic show. Where the idea list of things that we've got on deck is pretty extreme. Okay. But we'll be, I guess, technically an official announcement will be soon. But I believe it's September 26th. It's that last, Saturday in September. Okay. So, yeah, very, very stoked for that. And again, there's a new record we're going to be releasing at that. So we've
recorded
been working on that for a while.
MDW Studios.
Yes, I'm recording it, MDW Productions.
That's awesome. Got to self-plug a little bit, you know? That's...
Yeah, absolutely.
The Central Pennsylvania award-winning
Yes.
MDW Productions.
Got to also make sure we mention that. Yeah. So with the new album, is there any sort of new sounds or features, something like that listeners could expect versus your previous work? Or anything, or just...
Yeah, certainly we've been writing together for a while. So yeah, it's a new evolution of kind of what we've become. Like I have a bit of a perspective from inside the jar. So when I look at our material, I can see who brought the song to the band, and we've all kind of got our way we speak musically, and you can see it in each band member. And I see the songs we've all written have just kind of grown and flowered and really just kind of become something bigger and better than it's ever been before. So I think if anything, it's just like a really meaningful evolution of us putting in the energy to make it bigger and better than ever. Like we've never really released an official album, although you can come to our shows and we have a CD that's like a compilation of all our singles, but this will be the first time we're actually going to do an album.
Like a full-length album.
Yes.
That's sweet. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about the synth rig that you're talking about. Can we talk about that just a little bit more?
Of course.
As a musician, I'm just curious. Tell us more about that, please.
So going back to when I was playing in a cover band in the mid-2000s, keeping keyboard players around in the band was rather challenging. And it inspired me at the time to maybe because I was looking at all the guitar synth stuff that was out and about, and I was like, well, wait, maybe I can kind of take that role on in the band.
And what kind of band was this? Just a cover band?
It was a cover band. Yeah, we just played bars, and we were called Brazilian Wax. We just played 80s, 70s, 90s. Yeah, it was just a fun cover band.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, we had a blast doing that. But keeping a keyboard player around was tough. So that inspired me, but then it never really happened and the band broke up. Years later, we started doing reunion shows, just one-offs. And I put together a simple guitar rig. As part of my day job, I work with a manufacturer's representative firm, represent a bunch of different pro audio lighting products. And at the time, we were representing Godin guitars. And they had this guitar that had a Fishman triple play in it. I don't know if you're familiar with that system, but it's essentially like the guitar Bluetooths out a MIDI signal, and then you just got a dongle and you can stick it in your computer, a USB dongle.
Okay.
And the computer sees it like you just plugged in a USB keyboard.
Okay.
And so you can just play whatever VSTs you want with it.
So you can basically like turn your guitar into the MIDI, and through the software and the interface, you can change your sound.
Yeah, anything you could plug a USB keyboard into, you could use this guitar. And so I was playing around with that, but it was not very stage worthy. I had to bring a computer on stage, and it was a mess. So I got into the whole Roland architecture. So they've been doing guitars since the late 70s. With Pat Metheny, and that.
Did you ever get a guitar? Did you ever use a guitar?
I was more curious about that.
No, albeit Matt, in The Very Fine Gentleman, we have harangued him for a long time to get a guitar, and we'll continue to do so.
Gotta love
Matt,
the guitar.
It's going to happen.
Sorry, I digress.
No. So I got into the Roland architecture, and then that kept growing, and I changed that and evolved that. So at one time, my pedal board was like the size of this table here. It was ridiculous.
Fun to lug around.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
no kidding. Just everybody would just give you the weirdest look when you rolled to the venue. Like, I'm not that guy. I just had to make it that big to fit all the, whatever. Anyway, I have a much smaller, more compact rig. So I've got still using Godin guitars, but they have the 13-pin architecture in them, and I set it up to make it really easy with just quick button pushes. It's a pretty small pedal board, but I can make my guitar sound like anything.
That's so cool. Was this something that you were like trained in with your education and like starting?
I had to learn all about it. I certainly, synth guitars were not a part of my recording training, but I wanted to learn about it, and it's not really all that challenging. It's more like putting it together, I guess, and making it work was a little something, but programming the sounds is certainly a bit of a challenge. And then you got to learn the new techniques, because the guitar plays very different when you're playing synth on it. It's not very forgiving, so you have
a lot
to,
of disdain, I'm sure, and whatnot, right? Or sustainment, not disdain. Jeez.
Only if he hits a bad note.
Then there's some of that too.
Sustain.
It is challenging in that a regular guitar will let you be sloppy at times, and it isn't a problem. But when you're playing a certain sound with a synth, it can be like awful. It can be really bad. So you have to almost practice those parts with the intention of playing them through a synth and learn them that way.
So would you like even categorize it as, or just say it's almost like playing a different instrument when you're playing a guitar as a synth?
It can be. Yeah, absolutely. It is really a different technique, a different touch and a feel. And you just kind of have to practice the parts. You find the sound, and then you just kind of keep working on it. Like, I have to lighten up here. I have to hold this a little bit more. You just kind of keep playing with it until it voices right. And you get the hang of it after a while. It's, I don't know. It definitely makes the whole idea a lot more fun. More interesting to me.
I bet.
Do you guys use that at all in the Van Halen tribute band at all, or just?
Well, can I say this? So it wasn't until after Fedge of July that we'd already had a few rehearsals, a couple, and the show. And it wasn't until after Fedge of July that I found out that this is the first band that Mike has ever played bass in. I mean, I knew he was a guitar player, but I didn't know he'd never been in a band playing bass. That's how good he is.
And I didn't even think about that.
He's
You
one
were
of
playing
those
bass in this
guys.
band versus guitar. So, okay,
Yeah.
Playing
It's
guitar in
crazy.
Very Fine
Yeah.
Gentleman and bass in Van Wirsing.
It's crazy how good you are. And he also does all the high Michael Anthony harmonies, too. So he's doing the high end and the low end. But anyway, he's just very talented, very versatile. He's the brains of our operation. There's no doubt.
I say that about the guys behind the camera over there. I know the feeling.
Tell you, man. But like it's so nice because I don't want to get off this, but when we do rehearse for Van Wirsing, a lot of times we're at MDW Productions in his basement. So we have like the greatest rehearsal space. It sounds so good in there. We can record our rehearsals and stuff like that. So it's ideal. It's like, compared to being in a band when you're 15 years old, flash forward a few years and you're
corner of the
guys that know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I always say, I basically am singing karaoke Van Halen because these guys are so good and so meticulous. It's awesome. So
That's
anyway.
awesome. Hey, it makes your job a little easier.
Oh my God, it's so fun. But anyway. Yeah.
Where's MDW Studios located at? If anyone listening?
Colonial Park,
Colonial
Harrisburg.
Park. Gotcha. Oh, perfect. Okay. So, I mean, what kind of music do you have? Any sort of like musicians that you like to work with specifically? Like, I like to record more rock and stuff, or.
Well, my room has the gear and the infrastructure to be able to record humans making music with instruments, right? So, as opposed to a lot of recording studios are just some keyboards and maybe a vocal booth, and like they're not going to be able to handle a drum kit and guitar amps and people doing that all at the same time, So my room is set up to be able to do that, and that's where my heart is at as a musician. I'm not, people don't come to me to do like program tracks. That's not my thing. People come to me because they want to, make organic music in a room, like with real instruments. So, as for the genre, I make a lot of rock records. I make jazz records. I make country records. They're probably the most primary, styles that come through. But, I have done everything from hip hop to pop, So I've done a lot of stuff. But again, probably the primary amount of projects coming through are rock, country, jazz.
Gotcha. What would you say as a producer is your favorite to record?
Anything that's very song driven, I love that. I love really, really great songs. So that's high on my list. And certainly bands with just really great instrumental players. I as a musician myself appreciate folks that take it to the next level with their talent level and their proficiency.
Yeah.
So when folks can bring a high level of proficiency in, and especially if they can pair it up with really great songs, that's where those are my favorite times.
You like to watch the magic,
Yeah, I mean, so of being in the studio, my favorite times to be in the studio are when I'm doing basics tracking, which is typically I'm starting a record where there's multiple instrumentalists all playing at once, and I get to hear like the record start to sound like something immediately, like it come together after all the pre-production, all the talking, So we're coming down to it now. It's starting to happen, and I hit record, and it's coming through the headphones, and I hear it all come together. That's one of my favorite spots. And then the mixing at the end, I really do love to mix, as most people do that are in this gig. They really love to mix. So.
Yeah. Now, as a producer, do you find yourself to be, does it ever make you uncomfortable to like kind of talk to your clients and be like, hey, I think you should tweak this a little bit? Or do you find yourself more comfortable with that, where it's just like you feel like you have enough of an education and a background and a resume to be like, from my personal experience, I think maybe if you change this, it might have a better reaction? How do you handle a situation like that?
Well, folks that work with me have a pretty good idea about my process, and they're typically pretty open to it. And I mean, in a nutshell, I am, I look at it a producer's job as a facilitator. I teach production, like I teach at Messiah University. I used to teach at Lebanon Valley College, and I would always tell the students that the definition of a producer is like the person whose job it is to get a record to the finish line.
Okay.
And the last thing I ever want to do is be a cog in the wheel to prevent that from happening.
Agreed.
You know, so if a record is moving along and it's moving along in a positive nature, you know, you might look at me and go, that guy's pretty hands off. But it's like, why would I be hands on right now? Everything that's happening is really good.
Yeah.
Why do I want to, you know, I don't need to insert myself to just justify my reason to be in the room. I'm in the room because I know to not do that,
Yeah.
you know. But when I see that a record is maybe not going in the right way, or I think it can be better, yeah, I'll absolutely state that to the artist. And it's not like every time I do that, the artist agrees with me and says, okay, yeah, it's great, let's do that. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're like, no, I don't think that's right. I'm like, okay. At the end of the day, it's their name on the front of the record, not mine.
Exactly.
Mine's on the back, maybe. if I'm lucky, certainly not on the iTunes credits. You know,
I need to get on that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the whole production world in a nutshell, right? Oh my goodness. Quick question. I don't know why I just thought of this. Did we cover? How'd you guys even meet in the first place and get? I mean, understand that it was through Solar Federation. You know,
Our mutual
just your
admiration
mutual
of-
friend. Is that
yeah,
it? Or
it was a
did you guys know each other
admiration with Solar
previously?
Federation.
But I can't believe, you know, as long as you've been here and in the music scene, how long I've been here. And now I used to play more in the 90s. I played out acoustic and in a band or two, you know, and in the early 2000s. But like I stopped playing after our daughter was born and stuff. But still, I can't believe our paths didn't cross.
So you guys didn't meet before this?
We met, yeah,
but not
never in a million years
passing,
thought about I'd be in a band with anybody at this point in my life, to be honest with you. And then this lark of a Van Halen tribute at Fedge of July, that's what brought us together. And it turns out, I hope you feel the same way, we really hit it off. Like all of us,
absolutely.
we get along really well. You know, it's a really cool combination. But I'm grateful that our paths crossed because he's a great guy, super cool. And I've learned a lot already just in the year. We haven't even been together I think May would be a year since our first rehearsal.
Yeah.
Wow. 11 months in.
Yep.
Now you're doing podcasts together, playing with Brett Michaels.
The second time.
The second time. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
Humble brag. No, I'm joking.
Hey, ain't no need to be humble about that. That's pretty freaking cool, man. So we're very grateful. We really are.
That's awesome. So what's next for you guys after this? I mean, you got shows booked. You got Brett Michaels coming up. Where else do you guys see yourselves going?
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about we have an Allen Theater show coming up. We have a Shy Bear show coming up. You know, I joke about this with friends, but it's like the amount of opportunity that are just occurring in the tribute space now is just, it's kind of mind-boggling. You know, how many calls and requests we're getting to play. It's pretty wild. So
We're turning some things away.
yeah, we're turning away more than we're doing.
Wow.
Which it's an awesome spot to be in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels like it gets bigger whether we're trying to or not. It's almost like the next opportunity and the next thing, like, hey, we just got this, and it's wow.
And part of that is because, like I said, we've been around for a while. We between the 4 or 5 of us, we know a lot of people. A lot of people know us, and we get the benefit of that. We're not, you know, we certainly understand that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd throw this out there too. I didn't think about talking about this until now, but you asked like, what's next? Where are we at as the Van Wirsing band? It's so funny because as things are progressing, they're almost progressing, I don't want to say too fast, but we're having a meeting this week because we've got to talk about like real band stuff now. Like, you know, we've got to get some promotional video together that's not just phones from the crowd. That's so important now.
Yeah.
So like we're talking about all this stuff now. How far do we want to take this?
Merch?
We did a basic T-shirt for West Shore Theater, but yeah, what are we going to do for merch? You know, we're having all of those conversations 10 months into this because we never thought it would take off like this. We're like, well, what are we going to
have to do the big boy band stuff. Yeah, we didn't get there yet.
And it's fun. It's cool to talk about. We're gonna have a lot of these questions hopefully answered at our band meeting this week. Our first official band meeting.
Oh my goodness.
It's exciting, man. I got to tell you, I feel like a 15-year-old kid. It's like I never in a million years thought this would happen.
That's so cool. And you guys did say, I mean, you're right, tribute bands are kind of just popping up everywhere again now. Like, I don't want to say they ever really went away, but I mean, I've been seeing more tribute bands pop up more recently than I ever have in, I don't know, my 30 years, and people are going, they're selling out everywhere.
Well,
I mean,
I think part of the reason, there's a bunch of reasons, but I think the main reason is because a lot of the bands that are being tributed aren't making music live anymore.
correct.
And I've said the last few years that tribute bands are going to eventually be the symphony orchestras of the 21st century. You know,
Wow.
we're tributing the music of the 20th century, just like symphonies, or tribute music of the 19th century.
Yeah. That's a
20th
really good point. I never even thought about it that way.
The Harrisburg Symphony gets up there and does Mozart and Bach and try to do it as note for note meticulously as they can. And each local symphony has their own way of their own style, and you're going to get their own flavor, their own conductor. And, you're going to go see their five Van Halen tribute bands, let's say. They're all going to be different.
Yeah.
They're going to be a little different, but who's got the thing that I want to go see? I just think tribute bands are, and you've got some tribute bands that are huge, like Brit Floyd. They tour the world. They have the backing of Pink Floyd's, licensing and things like that. So they're huge. And then, you've got Solar Federation, who've been around for 10 years now and built up this really nice fan base, not just in Central PA, but they're starting to play in like Atlantic City. And they played the night for Neil Peart up in Neil Peart's hometown up in Canada, up in Lakeside Park. I mean, it's just like tribute bands are going to continue to be a thing, I do believe.
Yeah, and I think they're just getting bigger. And like, it's not only, just not, how do I say this? There's generations of them as well, where it's like you have Van Halen, you have Rush, you have, and it's like, okay, is this just this generation right now? They're really into tribute bands. Well, my generation, I'm a couple of years younger than you guys. We have Logan Summey, you know him.
Absolutely.
He's in Dead, the My Chemical Romance tribute band. And it's like, okay, like this is not just a generational thing. It's people of all ages and generations want them because you can't get that music anymore, and you want to get that.
And that's why people want to hear this music live, and they'd like to hear it done well, and have a good time. So it's a good way to keep the music alive and going. And it's, I know the market's probably going to go through a situation where it's overcrowded with tribute bands. That's why it's going to come down to, well, who do I prefer? Who's doing it well? Who's paying attention to who's being meticulous about the music that they're tributing? Are they being true to the albums? Are they being true to the live vibe of the performance? You could say that about any tribute band, U2 or Led Zeppelin. We were talking about this earlier. Get the Let Out has 8, 9 guys on stage. They're not trying to be just a 4-piece. They're trying to reproduce the music,
delivering you the records.
Right.
Yeah. That's what everybody's listening to at home, and that's what they want to hear.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
Yeah. I agree.
I think people just want to go out and be entertained and have a good time, and at the same time keep this music that is really the heart of what came out in the middle and second half of the 20th century alive and well.
Agreed. And like you were saying, with playing in this band, you're like, I feel like I'm 15 again. I feel like I'm a kid again. And I think a lot of that music for people makes them feel the same way. Like whenever I went and saw Dead, My Chemical Romance was huge when I was growing up, and for you, Van Halen was huge when you were growing up. And it's like, oh wow, this is just bringing me back that nostalgia. And I think it's kind of like a very healthy escape for a lot of people. The world's a hectic place anymore. Having a full-time job can really stress you out, and this world that we live in these days. And it's just like, man, if I could just get away for 3 hours and just go listen to my old songs that I used to love and feel like a kid again. I think that's really resonating with people right now.
Yeah, as compared to, certainly if you look back through the 2000s, when I first started really playing in central Pennsylvania very regularly, cover bands were the thing. That's what was out and about every weekend. But I guess you kind of liked a particular cover band because you did invest the time to go see them, and you were into their set list. But now with the tribute bands, like you got a pretty darn good idea what songs are going to get played. And I think that's really powerful now too.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
And then you have the bands that have a huge catalog or just well liked, and then you start to go and you wonder, how are they going to change the set list up tonight? What nugget are they going to play that maybe I've never seen them play?
Same way you felt watching The Real Artist.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really, trying to capture something special right there. So, well, guys, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you guys had a great time. I know we're kind of running a little low on time here. I feel like I just said time a lot there. I'm going to say it 3 more times.
There you go.
Yep, exactly.
This
2
has
more
been
of me.
so much fun. It seems like we've been going for 5 minutes.
I know. I just looked over. I'm like, oh, wow. So, man, is there anything I didn't cover that maybe you guys wanted to shout out or anything before we wrap this up here this evening?
I don't think I've talked about myself this much in a long time. I can't think of anything else.
You scared me with the way you said that. I'm like,
No.
I thought we talked about
tickets for the Allen Theater.
Yeah, get tickets. Allen Theater in Annville, beautiful Allen Theater, on May 29th, which is the Friday after Memorial Day. Perfect. And Bret Michaels, we're opening for Bret Michaels,
July
Hollywood
11th.
Casino, July 11th, 7-Eleven, with Fuel and Vixen. And it's going to be amazing. Party of the summer.
And where can people buy tickets for these?
Ticketmaster for Bret Michaels and allentheater.org.
Yeah. I think it's
Theater.
.com. Is it Allen Theater? It's either .com or .org.
Yeah, either way.
Google
Allen Theater,
Allen.
You'll find
type
it.
Allen Theater in the Google.
Google it.
It's the Allen Theater in Mechanicsburg.
Annville, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Yeah.
Annville. Gotcha.
Lebanon County, beautiful
Okay.
old theater. It's really nice in there.
All
We
right.
can't wait to play in there.
I'll have to come out there and check you guys out.
Come see us, Danny.
Yeah, I'll see it. Hey, I'm putting it in my calendar. I'm going to try to get out there and see you guys.
We
so.
might be able to score you tickets. We might know somebody. We'll see.
We'll say we'll talk after this. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time this evening. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Of course.